Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and we are here with another Savage Saturday comic review. This time number 68, just rolling right along, getting these done, and they've been growing in popularity. And I want to thank any and all of you who stop by and watch these. They mean a lot to me. They are a labor of love, and as always, these are full spoilers. The whole purpose of Savage Saturday comic review is to get reviews out there, full story reviews of these books that may not be accessible to everybody, and give them a chance to at least get the story, hear it, whatever. The story's out there. A lot of the reviews I do are from old books, and this week is part 2 of the Sword of Skelos in the Savage Sword of Conan, issue number 57, with a great Nestor Redondo cover. And this is part 2 of 3. We did part 1 last week, so if you need to catch up and missed it, go check out Savage Saturday Comic Review 67. And we're going to start out by showing you the frontispiece inside, because it's beautiful. And it is by Rudy Nebres. So here we go. The frontispiece right here. Some good black and white art. Give you guys a moment to look at that. Alright, so our story is going to continue. We're with Conan in the company of Isparana, heading towards Zambula to meet the Khan and turn in the Eye of Erlik.
I just want to give you a kick out there.
Oh, thank you, buddy. And that was my son. So, art is by John Buscema, and the story, the inks are by Tony DeZanuga. All right, and of course, a script adaptation by Roy Thomas. My kid threw me off from getting back. So we have Isparana and Conan trekking their way towards Zambula through the desert with their horses and their provisions. Now they met each other in the last issue, in the first part of the story, as enemies, and each of them slew one of the other's companion. Then thrusting them together with an uneasy relationship. Now, they're both attracted to each other, but they both would kill the other one. Well, Conan wouldn't kill her, but she would kill him in a second if she had a chance and knew she could get the Isle of Erlik from him. Alright, so the story starts with her complaining about the desert, the heat, and the sun. And Conan's saying, no, she's like, the skin of my breast stings, dog. He's like, no matter, it won't burn, not much anyhow. And they're trekking their way through, and she's trying to ply him for information about where this is. And he's telling her that the Eye of Erlik is buried in the sands. He's not letting her know that he's wearing it and it's under his own medallions. Otherwise, he knows she would just keep trying to kill him. And she's complaining because in the last issue, after she tried to kill him, he took her sword from her. And she's like, if we're attacked, I don't have a weapon. He goes, if we're attacked, you will not need a weapon. Because either Conan's going to fight him off or they're both going to die. And we go back to Zambula, where the mage, Zafra, is talking to Chia, who is one of the head harem mistress of the Khan, actor Khan. And she is trying to convince him to do things. He's trying to convince her. They're both in cahoots against the Khan to eventually take over, but they're also in cahoots against each other. Both feigning a love for each other, although they are attracted to each other. But as you know, in the Hyborian age, being attracted to each other and having good wishes for each other is two different things. So she is trying to seduce him again. He's trying to tell her that he suspects that the Khan knows of their continued dalliances together, even though the Khan had sent her as a reward to him to begin with. And just great John Buscema art. And they are plotting together currently to overthrow the Khan and create mischief, saying that her head woman is in cohorts with a guy to overthrow the Khan, which is not true. But they're creating all this intrigue so they can take over, but they each plan on killing the other one. So there's several plots afoot. Everyone's looking to overthrow everybody else. The only person who's not is Conan and Esperana. She's trying to retrieve this magical trinket, the Eye Erlich, for her Khan, thinking that she's just going to get rewarded for being a good thief. Conan just wants his gold. And then we go back to the desert. And Conan and Esperana are beset by bandits who want to take Esperana and have their way with her. Conan is left defending her and just starts slaying them on the spot, knowing that if he doesn't kill them, they're going to kill him and rape her. And Conan is trying to save her and also himself. And it's a savage, bloody battle. And Conan is just wrecking havoc. He's already cut one guy's head off, one guy's hand off. And he's quickly rendering the rest of the 6 attackers. They're down to 4. Conan thinks he's just making some headway when more people start arriving. And then he knows, that their camp isn't far away and there's more and more troops coming. Conan does what they don't expect and charges right into them, catching them off guard and taking down another couple of them in the process. And at this point, Conan's just prepared to sell his life as dearly as he can before he dies. He's not going to back down, but he's not going to give his life cheaply either. But then Esperana returns, and there's other people on camels to fight against the bandits that are on horseback attacking them. And now they're being led with their saviors to their camp. And this is where the brains of Conan really start to come in play. He knows they're outnumbered, and these guys could have just killed them, but they saved them. So Conan goes back, and him and Esperana are whispering to each other. These guys aren't from Zambula. They're not with these other band of bandits from the desert, and they got to figure out a way to survive. Now these guys do have some honor. Conan thinks he can play with that, and then our stuff shifts back to Shanki. All right, Tents of the Shanki, and we go for a moment. That's the title of part 2. We go to a moment back to Zambula, where the Khan is having a moment with his mage, Zafra. Now, Zafra tells him, because he already knows that the Khan knows that him and Chia are sleeping together, but he knows how to play the Khan. He goes, yeah, you sent her to me. I'm still seeing her. He goes, well, I'm glad you told me, because I've known all along. He goes, but if you were going to lie to me, I would have had to kill you. Now, remember, from issue 1, part 1, that the Khan has an ensorcelled sword from the mage, which kills on his command. So we see this little deal with them talking to each other, and Zafra is still in league with Chia to overthrow him at some point while creating all this political intrigue. And they leak information about, well, we'll get to that. They leak some vital information, and we'll let you know what that is in a moment. So we go back to where Conan and Esperana are being led. Now, the people that had attacked them, they were called the Yagites, and these people are the Shanki. And this guy's taking them to their ancestral home at this oasis, and they're allowed to stay there by the rulers of Zambula because they keep the deserts relatively safe. So this guy is inviting Conan in, and Conan's being very wise politically. He's being very diplomatic in his speech. So the Khan sends Esperanto away because they're very old school, and he thinks the political business is for the men, not the women. Then he calls in two of the Zagites' daughters that he had captured, who he has them serving them. And Conan is just observing these bizarre rituals that they have, while being very diplomatic. And Conan's saying stuff like, I begged the Khan of the Shanki to choose three of the horses I captured for his own trading. So he's offering out things for the Shanki to trade to show him respect and honor. And the Shanki, he's like, Conan is very generous to a fault, but with horses and swords and with words I shall accept only two. So he's being honorable back to Conan, and Conan is seeing that this guy isn't so bad. And this guy's his name's Akiman Khan. So he's the Khan of this little village. And him and Conan are debating while Akiman Khan has his wife take Esperanto off to be dressed in what he figures more of a respectable way for a woman to be dressed. And then those two get about to drinking with each other. And Conan's learning a little bit more about this guy, Akiman's daughter, who was slain in the first issue to finish ensorceling the sword that the other Khan now holds. And he was told that his daughter died of a disease and that they couldn't save her. But the intrigue I was talking about a few pages ago is the wizard, the mage Zafra and Chia put out the rumors that she did die by being murdered. That way he would find out. And they're trying to create political upheaval in a battle so they can take over. So the politics are becoming complicated. And the Khan is offering Conan a gift. Conan's refusing out of respect and saying, I'll accept a smaller gift. That's far too generous. And they finally get the feeling out of each other, both showing honor and respect to one another, both being honorable and respectful people. And then they proceed to get drunk with each other. Conan meets the guy's wife and daughter, of course, who led off Esperanto to get her in proper attire, which we see here. So Esperanto showed up now in the proper attire of Azkaban's tribe, and then not trying to kill him, but her and Conan end up hooking up for the night, and under the ruse that they're husband and wife, but they have been attracted to each other, and they've slept with each other before. So then we get back to Zambula, and we have the Khan, his torturer, and the mage Zafra interrogating a woman. And this is Chia's woman who brushes her hair and takes care of all her needs. And they have her strung up, and they're interrogating her. And she is actually an innocent. She's done nothing wrong. But her and a guard are who Zafra and Chia are manipulating to get in the Khan's head. And the mage casts a spell on her with some fluid that she had drank, some liquid that she didn't know was ensorcelled. And he can make her say anything he wants. And he makes her admit to things that she has no knowledge of by speaking those words in her stay, being spoken through her mouth. Once the Khan is satisfied that he's got the information he needs, he has her slain on the spot by his magic sword, which, as in the first issue, just jumps out at his command and straight through the heart. So another innocent person dead by these three scheming people. Chia, the head mistress of the harem, and the Khan's head mistress, and also the lover of Zafra, and it's all getting very complicated, right? So now another guard, Koja, they've thrown under the bus, so to speak. This guy is an innocent guy, and he's a good guard, but they need him out of the way, Chia and Zafra. And so they say that she was feeding the guard the information, who was taking it to the rival, Balad, and creating the controversy. Now, Balad is a guy that's out to take over the Khan because he knows that this guy is evil and not a good ruler. But they're complicating people in with that plot that aren't. All right, so then you get Zafra and Chia in bed together talking the politics, and he's letting her know that it was wise of him to confess to the king that they were together because the Khan already knew. So all the rulers in Zambula in that line areas, they're all Khans. So it's their name and then Khan after it. So you guys don't get too confused. Alright, so Conan and Esperanza are having a moment, and he actually connects with her in a way the morning after, and he gives her a knife, which actually causes her to tear up a little bit. And so she's starting to like Conan a bit more, starting to get to his side, and together they set out. They're being escorted by them to Zambula by his son, Actor Khan. Oh my gosh, the name's Hajiman. All right, so they get met by guards from Zambula sent by that Khan, and the Major was tracking the mystical Eye of Erlik, and he knew that it was in possession of Esperanza and a companion, and thus asked the king, the Khan, to dispatch an army to meet them. So now you have two different Khans, and their armies combined, leading Conan and Esperanza back to Zambula. And the plot is getting thicker and thicker. Alright, so once there, Conan's telling Esperanza that he plans on meeting Hajiman later and talking to him. So she's asking about the Eye of Erlik, which she was supposed to give to her Khan. Conan shows it to her, and she is immediately kind of pissed at him because he's been hiding it on himself the whole time. He covered it in garlic so it stank. She didn't look under his necklace, didn't think it was anything. And, he tricked her. She's pissed, and she calls him quite a fun little thing. She calls him a whelp of a camel-molesting, rot-crotched viper, which is a pretty fun little thing. Good one on Roy Thomas. Or, Andrew Offutt, who wrote the novel, The Sword of Skelos. And they're led before the Khan. And Conan, being honorable, gives her the talisman, the Eye of Erlik, to give to the Khan. Now, at this point, Conan's just looking for his share of the treasure and looking to get out with his hide intact. So he takes it out, gives it to Esperanza. He boists her up to the Khan and honors her. And she grows a little more respect for Conan, and she goes and gives it to the Khan. And the Khan invites them to dinner, as well as Hajiman and the other Khan. But word is getting back to them that his sister that the Khan gave to him, I said his daughter earlier, I meant his sister that the Khan sent to him, the one that had refused to sleep with him in the first part, was murdered and did not die of illness. So now the other desert-bound Khan is seeking out more information against this Zambula's ruling Khan to see if he has all the facts, if his sister was indeed murdered instead of dying of a disease and illness. Because now there's a war that's going to start to brew. You got Conan and Esperanza in the middle. But right now, they're being hailed as by this Khan, and I keep forgetting this Khan's name. I don't know why. I just have a hard time remembering all these different Khans. Actor. So Actor Khan, the bad one, but he's having them for dinner. Conan thinks he's okay for now, guys. He's lauding them for bringing the Eye of Erlik back, and they tell them the stories of everything that's happened, and he's just in wonderment of it. But you have the mage who's watching and very suspicious of Conan. He can spot a threat where the Khan doesn't really. And then you have the private meeting between them where Actor Khan is telling him that he plans on making Conan a captain. And the mage says, make him a captain? No, he's a foreigner. He didn't even respect his own people enough to stay with them. He's a wanderer. He's only loyal to his own ambitions. And once you make him a captain, he's going to want more power. He's going to want more wealth. And he's going to end up trying to overthrow you. He's not trustworthy. And neither is Esperana. She is, after all, a thief. A thief you sent to steal stuff. That she's not going to change. And the Khan just swallows the mage's ill advice wholeheartedly. It's like, oh, the best thing I did. He's thinking to himself is, employ this guy in my, employ him to me. He's got wise counsel, not knowing that this guy's counsel isn't wise. It's all being set up so he can overthrow him at some point. So then we go back to the bar the tavern that they're at, and a mysterious stranger comes up to speak with Conan and asks Conan to come meet. Now, Conan and Esperana don't know at this time that the meeting that just took place between the mage and Actor Khan dispatched troops to bring him and Esperana back because he plans on slaying them both now instead of rewarding them. So Conan gets up and leaves. Oh, I'm sorry, not both. He's going to give Esperana to Zafra as a gift for him to use her as he wishes. So nothing good for Conan or Esperana, just nothing but vileness. And so Conan goes to this secret meeting, letting him know full well if there's anything afoot, he'll have no problem slaying whoever tries to surprise him or kill him. And Conan leaves with them. Esperana stays behind. And apparently I can't turn pages. And Conan and this other man are making their way to the meeting place. The other guy is assuring Conan the whole time that he is in no danger. And once they're in there, Conan meets this guy, and he's telling him about the evils of this Khan. Conan's not really believing it at first because all he's seen is the side of the Khan who likes it when he gets his own way and is given stuff. And so this guy needs to convince Conan quite a bit. The first thing Conan asks him is if his name is Balad, because Balad is the guy Conan had learned is going against the Khan, and Conan doesn't want to get caught up in political intrigue. He just wants his reward, and he wants to go. He plans on leaving. So as they're talking, the guy that led Conan there comes back and says that 20 guardsmen have entered the tavern and took Esperana. And now Conan's starting to fall a little bit more on this guy's side. So Conan goes back, says, trust me, I know what I'm doing. You already know I can fight. There's other things I'm capable of. Conan goes back and enters his room to grab his goods and his gold. And he's also going to plan, but he gets caught. A cup falls, makes a noise. The guards rush in. Conan makes quite the daring escape, cuts a rope, and for people trying to follow him, when he goes out the window, up to the roofs, and he's making his way across the tops of the buildings to escape. And Conan then blends in as a beggar, wraps himself up, and pretends he's hunchback as the captain of the guard goes by him. None the wiser. But Conan's scoping out the situation so he can get plans, so he can plan on how to rescue Esperana. And Conan, so how to rescue Esperana, and Conan had made plans now with the guy that he met, who revealed himself to be Balad after. And they are going to be intertwined together as they take on the Khan of Zambula and his mage, so they can get Esperana back and put in place a new ruler. So all these things are in place now. You got three different people plotting to take over for the Khan. One with decent intentions, Balad, who wants to be a just ruler and be good for the people, and Chia and the Mage Zafra, who both just want power, so they can do as they please. All right, so they can be, rich, famous, be waited upon, all that stuff that goes with it. They just want absolute power, where Balad wants to just overthrow him so the people have a better ruler. And you can start to see the setting up that him and Hachiman from the Desert Khan are going to end up joining forces, them and Conan, to rescue Esperanna and overthrow this Khan. But that's part 3, and we'll get to that on the next Savage Saturday comic review. To end this up, I'd like to say, for a middle section of a 3-part story, this had a lot more going on than Conan and the Sorcerer. When that middle part was kind of just all set up. This was set up, but there was a lot going on, a lot of political intrigue, and I really liked how, in a lot of this, Conan had to use his wiliness and his brains to get through. And it's really setting up a very satisfying part 3. There's a lot of moving things that have to come together. And we're going to show you the last piece of art in this. But that's it, guys. That is Savage Saturday Comic Review number 68. Next week, we'll have 69 with part 3 of the story. And that's it for today. Until next time, keep it casual.